Hey everybody, this is day 3, and I just have to laugh at myself because I am learning a lot. I'm learning what not to practice with a plant behind me in the corner, and learning not to wear baggy shirts, and this is new to me, so just bear with me, but I hope every day gets just the tiniest bit better. We'll see how it goes. We are going to start lying down on our backs and put our feet on the floor. So you'll be all the way down on your back, and you'll just walk your feet apart a little bit and then lean your knees in on each other so that your knees touch. I'm going to scoot just a little bit this way. Take your hands and rest them on your belly, and just close your eyes. We'll take these first few breaths to calm ourselves down, to start to focus on what's happening right now. With your hands on your belly, you can just feel the belly rising and falling with your breath. Try to slow down your breath. You're purposely breathing slower and deeper. Open your eyes and just look toward the screen for a moment. Once your hips leave the ground in this pose, you shouldn't turn your head. So once you're up in this shape, you just need to keep your eyes on the ceiling. Don't look back at your screen. It's not healthy for your neck to turn your head in this pose. So watch first and then come in with me. The back of your head, your shoulders, and your hands are going to press the mat. Then open your knees. Walk your feet in toward your hips. Your feet are about hip distance apart. Walk your shoulder blades together underneath you, and then press into your feet, hands, shoulders, and head, and lift your hips. Now it's time for you to come with me. And remember that you're breathing slower, breathing deeper than you normally would. If you feel comfortable here, you could test your limits by lifting your hips a little higher. You'll feel your hamstrings and your hips start to work. Let's slowly breathe out and lower your hips back down to your mat. Once your hips are on your mat, it's okay for you to turn your head and look, but you're going to bring your knees into your chest. If you want to, you can hold the backs of your thighs and pull down, or you can reach up and hold your shins and pull down. This pose releases tension in your lower back You're using some of your arm strength to pull the knees closer. And keep your hands where they are and start to make really slow circles with your knees. You can go one direction the whole time, or you can switch it up. Good. And now bring your knees back to your chest. We'll stay in this tight ball. Roll onto your side so that you can push yourself up to a seat. Easy pose. We practiced this one yesterday. We're going to come back into easy pose. Now that you've found your seat, bring your fingertips out in front of you. Let me back up so you can see this a little better. Bring your fingertips out in front of you and then over to frame your right knee. You can feel a really gentle twist. You want to feel that, and then walk your fingers forward. Don't force anything. If this is bothering your hip or your knee, you should walk the hands back and back off a little bit. If you feel ready to walk forward, you'll walk forward. And just notice if you're feeling any tension in your neck, your jaw, and use your slow, deep breath to release the tension there. Walk your hands back up, easily, slowly. And come back through the center. We're going to rotate to the opposite side now. Frame the opposite knee. Walk forward. And you're always mindful of your breath. So what I like to do is breathe into the lungs, but down to this bottom part of the lungs. Your lungs are all the way up here, they're across the front, but in this shape, if you'll breathe down here into the bottom part of your lungs, you'll feel expansion and release. Now walk your hands back up. Once you've come back up, give yourself a minute to take a deep breath. Or not a whole minute, just one breath. Now make your way into an all fours position, hands and knees. Now once you've got your hands underneath your shoulders and your knees underneath your hips, spread your fingers out and press your fingertips into the floor. And you also want to keep some energy in the belly. Step back with your right foot. And once you're stretching your heel back there, see, I want you to rock forward and back on this foot. And this is going to help you release your wrists, your lower leg. settle back into your heel. Try to create a really long line from your tailbone through the top of your head here. And then lift your leg and extend your opposite arm. So you're holding this balancing pose very steadily. An option for you is to bring your fingertips to the floor if you're feeling really wobbly. And then slowly release, come back to all fours. And flip your right wrist over. So I'm taking my hand and it's going to be flipped this way and on the mat. I don't know if you can see that all that well, but the back of your hand is pressing the mat just to release. Good. Back to all fours, palms pressing, and you'll step back into your left foot. And we'll repeat, rocking back and forth on the toes. The muscles around your knee, your quadricep here is strong. And take one more breath in and send the heel back. Lift your leg and lift your opposite arm. Sometimes when my shoulders are tight, instead of having my thumb up like it is now, I turn my palm to face the floor. So you could do that instead of having the thumb facing up if you'd like. Keep your breathing smooth and deep. Bring your hand and knee back to the mat. Flip your toes under. Let's press back into downward facing dog. Downward facing dog has the hands pressing, the heels pressing. And you're opening your shoulders. If your back is rounded in this pose due to tightness in the hamstrings, you can bend your knees and send the hips up to keep your spine straight. In all of these videos, I am gearing them toward beginners, people who've never practiced yoga before or have only practiced a few times. I expect that this pose might be difficult, and you can always bring your knees to the mat and take a rest if you would like to. Bend your knees and walk your hands back toward your feet. And once you've got your hands back here at your feet, you'll bend your knees and bring your feet together. Good. And stand up tall. So I'm going to turn to face you, and we'll practice a balancing pose. We practiced tree pose on day 1, and you can tell if you need to work on balance by how you did with that pose. It's one of the first poses we ever teach, balancing poses we ever teach. This is another one that's pretty basic. So you want to keep your left leg standing. You're going to spread your left toes. Keep your hips level and pull your right knee toward your chest. The toes want to reach back toward the shin. That's it. Try not to hold your breath. hands are just resting here at your hips. And then step strongly down now into the opposite leg. Same pose. Opposite side. It helps when you're practicing balancing to pick something to look at on the floor just a few feet in front of you and keep your eyes focused on that spot. And now stand in both feet, mountain pose. All right, we're going to step the feet out wide. And once you've got your feet stepped out wide, turn your right toes out and turn your left toes in. And then look down and line up your heels, one behind the other, just to guide, reference point. Look at this front knee and bend it out in the direction of your front foot. When you look down, you should be able to see your big toe in the front. If not, your knee is turning in. Take some of the bend out of your knee and strengthen your hip to get back. So there's a little bit of twisting action going here in the rib cage. So twist the rib cage towards your back leg a tiny bit. Extend your arms. This is Warrior Two. Usually in Warrior Two, you turn your head to look out over the back of your front hand. If your neck is comfortable doing that, you're going to turn your head. Stand strong in your legs. If you get fatigued, you can straighten your front leg and come back into Warrior Two when you feel ready. Let's bring the hands to heart center. Straighten your right leg. Switch your feet so that your left toes are facing out. Hips are level, so you don't want one hip up and above the other. Good. Hands at heart center. Bend your knee. Extend your arms. I want to show you one thing not to do. This comes up often. If you don't step your feet far enough apart, let's say I was about here. See how my knee is going out beyond my toe? We don't do that very often in yoga because it puts more pressure on your kneecap. So you want to step your feet out wider so that when you bend your knee is over your ankle. Okay, good. And same thing, the torso is going to twist a little bit toward the back leg, arms reach. Legs are so strong here. Your arms are strong. And turn your head toward your front hand. You're building confidence, you're building strength here. Let's go for one more breath in. And then bring the hands back to heart center to exhale. And then step your feet back underneath you. We're going to come to the floor and practice 2 seated poses. So you come all the way down. I hope that you can see what I'm doing here. We're going to extend the right leg out long and then bend the left foot in so it's bent and the heel is near your groin. So if you find that you're rounding your back, you can push your foot a little bit away from you. And you can also bend the straight leg a little bit if you want to. Now, turn towards your long leg. So twisting, twisting. And then walk your fingers forward out over that long leg. Many times beginners have trouble getting the hip open. If you've got a sweatshirt or anything at home, you can prop up under the knee. That will help if your hip is bothering you. And just like I told you in the twist we did in easy pose, breathe into this bottom part of your lung. Welcome to go deeper if you'd like. Or you can stay here with me. Good. Come on, come back up. Nice and easy, slow and easy. Turn to face your bent leg so you can stretch and do the same thing now on the other side. So we're pulling in, we've got everything all set up. A long left leg. Breathe in and then rotate on the breath out. Again, coming out over the long leg. But I do want to give an option. This is not a beginner option. I'm just giving this option for some of my studio students who've been practicing a long time but who are staying at home right now. You can lift this back rib cage and fold and hold your foot. So you're bringing your nose down toward your knee if you'd like. And this is going to get deeper into your top side body. And the rest of us, nobody ever forces anything. You can come with me right here. We'll walk it back up, all the way back up, back up, back up. Good. Come center. Last seated pose. It's a little more challenging than some beginner poses. So if you are feeling like you're going to fall out of the pose, it's a seated balancing pose. You can keep your feet on the floor. So I'll show you the option. You can keep your heels on the mat here. See how my feet are apart? You could reach down and hold your ankles. This can be the pose. It opens your low back. And this is enough. And if you feel ready to do just a little bit more, you're going to take your pointer and middle fingers and wrap them around your big toes. You're lifting your foot. Then you'll do the same thing on the other side. You're balancing. Good. Now pull your knees back toward, let me show you this from the side. Pull your knees back toward your arm. Good. And then stretch your heels out. So they're pressing forward while you pull back. And your back is really straight, really long. Strong arms here. And on the exhale, release your feet to the floor. Good. let go of your toes. We're going to lie down on our backs. Just untie this because it gets uncomfortable. Lie down on your back and stretch out your legs. Close your eyes. Tuning in again to the rise and fall of your belly. Just let your fingers curl in. Yesterday and the day before, I let you relax by yourself. Today, it's just me and the hamster in the house. So I'm going to relax with you. And let the bones in your arms and shoulders relax and get heavy. The bones of the rib cage, the bones of your spine. Relax and get heavy. Heavy hip bones. And heavy legs. And your whole body feels softer. More relaxed. Relax your face too, your eyes and cheeks, your mouth. And for the next minute or so, as often as you need to, remind yourself to soften. Remind yourself to breathe slower, deeper. Then start to wiggle your toes and fingers. Take a few really big breaths. And now gently walk your feet back in toward your hips. Roll onto your side. And push yourself up to a seat. Thank you so much, everybody. I hope these videos are really helping you while you're at home with your children and pets or working from your house.